In March, when everyone was deeply affected by the pandemic, most people stayed home. But in September, when college restarted, everyone had to come back, and we all had to face the consequences of what the pandemic had done to university guidelines. Today, we're going to be talking to 2 individuals who live on campus and 1 individual who doesn't live on campus. We're going to see what incoming freshmen, upcoming juniors, and someone who isn't in Rowan University have been affected, and how their housing has changed during this time. What guidelines did you guys have to follow while you were moving in?
We had to go into the garage and we had to check in, and then we had to wear a mask the entire time, and I think we got 2 carts, and we had like an hour, 2-hour time slot where we had to be like in and out and done with our stuff, so like the next group of people could come in.
And how many people were you allowed to bring with you to help you move in?
1 person, like, per roommate. So like my sister lives with me, so because she's like a separate person from me, like she could have had someone help her move in, and I could have had 1 person move in. So 1 person.
So was that difficult for your family at all to try and move you guys in with 1 person?
No. See, like we could have 2 people helping us because there's 2 of us. Yeah. So it wasn't like that big of a deal to move in because like we're together. So, and it was just my mom who helped us, so it was fine.
Okay. Did you have to change anything in the house once you moved in to help keep up with quarantine regulations, or did you guys stay roughly the same as last semester?
Roughly the same, but we got like a lot of like cleaning products, like just to be sure. We got some gloves, a lot of masks. Like I have like mask on recycle, like for real. Yeah.
And has it affected how you guys are in the house? Like what you do day to day?
Oh yeah, like so obviously you're not allowed to have guests now because of Corona, obviously. So that's kind of weird. So no one really coming over, so it's just us. Like I've never stayed in a room like this long before. I mean, besides like actual quarantine when we were home. So like if it feels a little crazy, but like I know the people I live with, so it's like kind of comfortable. But other than that, it's just us all the time, so it gets a little boring. But
you're staying safe.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I know that my time at this university has definitely changed because of the pandemic. I had a roommate who had to not move in this semester because both of his parents lost their jobs due to the pandemic. A lot of people have had roommates or housing changes or large things affect their life because of this. But it's good to know that some people still manage to keep their family close by and haven't had much of an effect, even if they have to deal with all of the guidelines Rowan University has put in and had to move in slowly even though they were in the same family. It's good to know the guidelines are in effect and are still making sure that we are safe, even with everyone having to move in. Precautions did you have to take while moving in?
I was only allowed 2 family members when I moved in instead of like my whole family, and we had to sign up for like an assigned spot, and it was supposed to only take 2 hours. We kind of went over 2 hours. They didn't really super enforce that, but instead of like, I don't actually know how it's normally supposed to be, but instead of everybody moving in like on the same day or the same few days, people moved in over the span of like a full week. So I have friends on campus who are here like a really long time before I was, and it's like really weird because like, I don't know, they were already doing activities and like making friends before I was even on campus.
So our last question is, how has the precautions changed how you have to live in a dorm? Like, I know you have to wear masks in the hallway and
well, I think the wearing masks is a big thing because I have to wear a mask when I want to like go take a shower, which is the weirdest experience. It's worse wearing a mask going back from the shower. But like there are a lot of people who walk the hallways without wearing masks, and it's like weird because the hallways are cramped and you have to like walk by them, and it's like it's weird to walk by with someone who's not wearing a mask. But there's like signs everywhere, and you're not supposed to use the middle stall in the bathrooms, which nobody really follows that rule, but not supposed to. Oh, and you're apparently not supposed to have more than 2 non-family members in your dorm at a time. So like I'm pretty sure people break that rule, but it's just something that an extra worry that like if you have one extra person over, you're worried you're going to be caught and like kicked out of the dorms or something. So but like it's really hard for me to answer some of these because I don't know what it's supposed to be like. So for me, this is all normal because I'm a freshman.
I certainly know that my freshman year was very different from this current year, and the incoming freshmen have some horror stories about what's happening and how their families have been affected. My freshman year, I got to move in with my entire family. I already had a roommate and the rooms were packed, but we got to hang out with everybody and we certainly didn't have to wear masks, and we were definitely allowed in Holly Point. I know that a lot of things have changed, but it's good to see that the freshmen still have that nice positive attitude about being away from home for the first time. Let's just hope their classes go as well. So when did you get your housing?
I signed a lease for this house in, I think it was April.
Okay. When did you move in?
Last week of May.
Was that affected at all by Corona starting?
No.
You moved in on time? That like you were scheduled to move in?
I moved in a little early actually. The lease started June 1st, but I moved in like a couple days before that.
Did you move in at the same time as your roommates?
No, I moved in first, and then Cameron moved in over the summer a little bit after me, and then Jimmy and Alex moved in around like end of August.
And you have the same roommates you were going to have before the pandemic started?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody changed.
Nobody left or?
Nope. Nobody
switched
dropped
around?
or switched around. No.
Did Corona affect how long any of you could stay
Stay where?
here in the house?
No. Well, Jimmy. So my roommate Jimmy, his dad told him that he had to come home for Thanksgiving and stay home into the spring.
So you've sort of lost a roommate, but he's still living here.
Yeah, he's coming back in the spring, in January.
Okay. Did anything about the house, the lease, the landlord change during the pandemic?
Nope. Nothing changed.
Right down the street from Rowan University, in private housing, it seems that the life is going a lot better. The university has put guidelines in place to keep everybody safe, but most landlords and rent holders are still doing the regular day-to-day thing. Most people have still managed to keep jobs and are still going about their life as normal. Matt is the perfect example of the unchanged part of the world that hasn't been affected by Corona. It's interesting to see the difference between regular civilian life and the student life under the university's guidelines. With wearing masks and not being able to have many people in your house, it looks like private housing might have been the way to go this year. But we all take what we can, and the university is doing their best to follow procedures to make sure we all stay safe. Today, we looked at 3 people who live in very different places, on campus and off of campus, private housing and university housing. Overall, the impact of this pandemic has been completely worldwide, but it looks like the day-to-day life of most people our age has been affected pretty minimally. We have to wear a mask and we have to follow university guidelines, but at the end of the day, at least we still have a place to lay our head at nights and a roof over our head. As the cold wind whips outside, at least we're all still in this together.